Hello, everybody. This is Toni Turner, and welcome to the market now on Friday, September 19th at about 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Well, all of Wall Street's main indexes are trading at all-time highs today as we speak. That includes the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, the NASDAQ Composite, and small caps all trading at their all-time highs. Pretty exciting stuff. FedEx gained today as the parcel delivery firm posted upbeat quarterly results above analyst estimates as cost-cutting and strength in domestic deliveries helped offset weaker international volumes. Apple, of course, is also rising on its iPhone 17 debut and a price target raise from JP Morgan, while Tesla is also up after a report of Baird's upgrade on the stock to outperform from neutral. And on all of that really good news, let's go on to three charts that could give us some insight into the week to come. First of all, as we always do, we're going to look at a daily chart of the S&P 500 Spider, symbol SPY. Of course, this is the exchange-traded fund that closely follows the benchmark S&P 500 index. Now, when I captured this chart today, whoops, I forgot my line here. Hold on just a second. Hold on. Gotcha. Okay, so when I captured this chart today, and I know it's hard to see, when I captured this chart today, the SPY was trading at just right at $652, and I think that says 83 cents, and just off of its intraday high yesterday was at 665. So we're right there. The red line, the 20-day moving average, is coming in at 651, the red line. The green line, the 50-day moving average, is coming in at 640 and change. And the 200-day moving average, the black line down here, is coming in at about 598. So it's been a beautiful run-up since the April lows. We know that since back here, look left with me on the chart, since the February all-time closing high at that time came in at about 613. At that time, the SPY rolled over and about everybody else fell with it. It fell over down to this April 7th low down here at about 480. It was actually 481.80, but we're going to call it 482 down here. It rolled down to that bounce. To that low at 482, then rallied up immediately, then pulled back a little bit here and back to 508, and then broke through in a pretty steep angle. It's 20-day, it's 50-day, which by then were inverse, back up above the 200-day moving average up to this point here. I think that was about 595 or so. Pulled back to the 200-day here at the end of May, just for a little tiny bit here though, but stayed above its 20-day and 200-day moving average and really literally walked up the 20-day moving average here through June through July, a little balk down there August 1st, but rallied back up over the 20-day, the red line moving average, kept trending higher, higher lows and higher highs. That's all we ask, right? Higher lows and higher highs, and it moved right up here to where we are now at 662 and change. And from these lows, from this April 7th low, up to where we are now, that gain, if you got in at the lows here and look at where we are now, that's a 37% gain. Very, very nice. Very nice uptrend following, letting the 20-day moving average kind of act as the trend line or the staircase that the spider walked up. So what do we have here going forward? It's a beautiful chart, but a very simple one. So we have to say, all right, we have the only resistance we have is exactly right where we are. So we're going to say we've got resistance here at 665. We have potential support down here at the 20-day moving average at about 651. We have more support here at the 50-day moving average at about 640, 641. We've got this pivot down here that came in at 619 for whatever that little bit's worth. We have the February highs back here at 613, and then the February highs, I'm sorry, the February highs at 613 coming in right here, so we can call that support as well at about 613. On down here again to the 200-day moving average at 598 and so forth. Plenty of potential support should the SPY need it. We know that going forward, how long can we stay at these all-time highs? I don't know. I don't know anyone in the world who knows where the market's going to go next. But I do know that during these times, for sure, I do move up my protective stops. I want to keep all the profits I have. So maybe it's something you want to think about. Our next chart today is a daily chart of the Invesco QQQ, symbol QQQ. This, of course, is the exchange-traded fund that closely follows our NASDAQ 100 index. It represents the top 100 non-financial stocks in the NASDAQ stock market, and that includes, of course, Meta, Google, Apple, Microsoft, that whole group. Now, when I captured this chart today, the Qs were trading at an all-time high, new all-time high at $598.24. Go Qs. Of course, it's a trading as it would be at a premium to its 20-day moving average. The red line is coming in here at about 580. 50-day moving average is coming in at 571.84, so 571, 572. And the 200-day moving average is coming in at almost 524. So looking back to like we did, like we did in on the SPY, looking left onto the left side of the chart with me here, we know that the Qs made an all-time high in February of this year at $539.52. Then, like everything else, the Qs rolled over and came down to the low down here, the April 7th low at 402. Then it rallied hard, couldn't get over that 20-day moving average, hit its head on that, pulled back, then it pulled back here to 428. Then it started higher and then rallied quickly above the 20-day and the 50-day moving averages, which of course were inverse at that time, with the 20-day being the lowest, the 50-day just above that, and the 200-day above. Went up to the 200-day moving average and actually gapped up above it, didn't let it act as a ceiling as it had earlier back here in April. And then actually from that April-May, jumped up here really steep, pulled back to the 20-day, and then pretty much walked up the 20-day moving average. Again, higher lows and higher highs. That's what we want for an uptrend. Moved back up, used the 20-day more or less for a trend line. In August, started to lose a little steam as it would. That's how markets work. They don't go up forever. I'm sorry to tell you that. They don't, but they've got to get some profit taking come in, and then new buyers come in, and then started it up again, as I said, to where we are now at 598, right back up here. Of course, from that April low at 402 down here to where we are now, it's been a 46% run up for the QQQ. No complaints here, 46%. So what do we have here? Well, all we can say is we've got resistance at the highs. Of course, resistance is sometimes easily put in round numbers, so we'll say it's 598 to 600. We have potential support at the August highs. See that high right there? We can draw a line like this and say we have potential support at the August highs at 584. Of course, at the 20-day moving average at 580. The 50-day moving average at 571, 572. We've got the February highs back here, and June highs at 539, 537. So like about that, reasonably straight, right? We've got the 200-day moving down here at 520, almost 524, and on down. So again, lots of potential support. Should the Qs need it? Should they, as they say now, broaden out or just start moving sideways? should that happen. We've got plenty of potential support here. So please know also with me that next month we'll be going into third quarter earnings season. That will offer a lot of new information. So we need to stay tuned for that. Again, maybe consider raising your protective stops on your short-term trades, and stay tuned for earnings season in a couple, 3 weeks. Our last chart today is a daily chart of the Global X Internet of Things ETF, the SNSR. It has 55 holdings. Garmin, Skyworks Solutions, Dexcom, and Lattice Semiconductor are some of the top holdings. Now, when I captured this chart today, the SNSR was trading at $39.28. The 20-day moving average is coming in here at 38.66. The green line, the 50-day, is coming in at 38.03. And the 200-day moving average is coming in at $35.83. Now, you know I like to check long-term charts, and I did on this. And I noticed that on the long-term chart, monthly chart, the SNSR reached an all-time high in the last quarter of 2022, right at $40. So actually, it dropped for a period, came down to April lows, and then started back up. So you can't see of course, you can't see the 2022 high on this chart, but it did get up to 40. So now looking back at this chart, if we look back in February high, the SNSR made a recent high back in February of this year at about 38. Then it rolled over, and a lot of indexes and stocks did, of course, at this time. It rolled over and fell down to its April 7th low at about 28 and change. It rallied back up like most did, and came back down here, and then rallied up through its moving averages up through the 20-day. By then had been inversed, the 50-day, and back above the 20-day up here to about 36. Then fell back down to the 200-day moving average, the 20 and the 200-day right here. Then rallied back up and started walking up the 20-day moving average, using it again as a staircase. Then in August 1st, down to the 200-day moving average, and then pivoted again pretty quickly. This is the part of it I like when I'm looking at this price pattern, and then walk back up to where we are now. So the tops here, the tops of this particular price pattern are right here at above 39, but then I like how it fell down and then started back up here, again, tiptoeing back up the 20-day moving average. Looking like here it might be able, this is a little higher here, only a few cents, but it's higher than this July consolidation and highs right there. So wondering if it can break out here. And I want to know if it can break out over 39 and higher. It's trading again today at 39.28. So in the coming week, if the SNR can stay above the 50-day moving average, coming in at 38 and change, I'm going to get this pretty tight here. So if it can stay above the 50-day moving average, coming in at 38, because now price is only at $39 and change. If it can stay above the 50-day moving average, coming in at 38, and if the market's behaving reasonably well next week, as long as it's going at least kind of up or sideways, I will buy a small position of the SNSR in my portfolio, and I'm going to put a stop down here. I put the stop too low on this, so please forgive me. Move it up to here. I'm going to put a stop here at 37.50, right under the 50-day moving average. I'm not going to keep it all that far down. That was a typo there. I'm going to put a stop here at 37.50. If and when the SNSR can get above 41, if it can get above and close above 41, then I'll be adding to my position, and of course by then my stop will be a trailing stop. So you may want to keep an eye on the SNSR in the coming week. And now please know that at ToniTurner.com we've lowered the price of all of our online training programs to make them more accessible to everyone. So if you'd like to become a more profitable trader, now is a great time to check out my timeless training programs. In my training program, Trade the Trend to Profits, you'll discover an easy step-by-step process that tells you how and when to enter, manage, and take maximum gains from long-term trades known as trend trades, position trades, or core trades. And with this strategy, you can earn really good profits without having to stay glued to your screens all day. Our new low price for this program is only $127. And by the way, some of my programs here are priced at only $59. When you order, you'll receive special bonuses, including 1 month of Metastock daily charts or Metastock real-time charts for free. And once you purchase, you have unlimited access to learn at your own pace. So from our ever-popular 7 steps to successful trading, right here, everybody likes that, to how to swing trade successfully, another really popular program, Trade the Trend to Profits, how to read charts, 3 winning setups, how to bottom fish like a pro, and more. Discover how my online programs can help you earn more money quickly and easily. Try them out now by going to the link on this screen, or easier still, just click on the orange button below. Until next week, be careful out there. Keep green on your screen. I'm Toni Turner, and this is The Market Now.